Let's try an experiment. If I said, everyone saw her duck, what do you think that means? Do you think that it meant that the girl had a pet duck? Or do you think that it meant that the girl ducked? It's unclear, right? That's ambiguity. When something is vague and it's open to different interpretations. I'm John Claude Bemis, your writing coach, here to help you with generating amazing ideas for stories. Today, we're going to explore the power of ambiguity. Sometimes ambiguity can turn tragic. There's a famous legal case from 1950s England when two teens, Derek Bentley and Christopher Craig, were robbing a warehouse and were cornered by the police. When Craig, who was 16, pulled out a revolver, the officer said, "Hand over your gun, lad." Craig's friend, 19-year-old Bentley, shouted, "Let him have it." Clearly an ambiguous thing to say. Put yourself in Craig's shoes. Did Bentley mean let him have the gun, or let him have it as in shoot him? Craig assumed the latter. He shot the officer. Bentley later swore he was saying, "Give up the gun." Clearly, Craig committed a crime. But what about Bentley, who told his friend to let him have it? Was he guilty too? The English courts at the time decided yes. In fact, the shooter Craig wound up only serving 10 years in prison, while Bentley, who was a legal adult, was hanged for these misconstrued words. Usually, ambiguity isn't so fatal, but it can be confusing. It can be annoying. Your friend sends you that emoji and you're not quite sure if they're mad or annoyed or they're just being funny. So in normal life, ambiguity is often seen as a bad thing. But when it comes to creativity, ambiguity is great. Ambiguity is golden, and here's why. The human brain is wired to make connections. We look at a cloud and somehow our brains see a sailboat or a unicorn. We look at the moon and see a face. We hear a strange noise in the darkness and we're sure it's a ghost or a burglar. There's a million random stars in the sky and we make constellations out of them. This is the pattern-seeking function of the brain we're going to tap into to help you be more creative. Do you remember how the Oracle of Delphi worked? In ancient Greece, people seeking answers about the future would go to the mystical oracles at the temple of Apollo in Delphi. And how were the answers given? As riddles. Actually, it's debated by historians whether the oracle spoke in unintelligible gibberish or poetic hexameters. But the point is, it wasn't a straightforward answer to their question. It was up to the seeker to interpret the answer the oracle gave. This role of personal interpretation is a powerful part of being an artist. In the creative process, the artist isn't the oracle. The artist is the seeker. Let's look at an easy activity that you can do without having to travel to ancient Delphi. Roger Van Ock is a creativity consultant who's worked with businesses like Apple, Disney, and NASA. This is a technique he uses for asking the oracle. First, ask a question. Then, get an answer from an ambiguous source. Finally, interpret the answer. Say you're in the thick of writing a scene and you need a name for a character, but you could easily just type in placeholder or Billy Bob or something like that and then figure out the name later. But if you're the type that it's really bugging you and you want to know the name of this character before you move on, well, this is an opportunity to ask the oracle. So what is the question? The question is, what's this character's name? Now, you need the oracle. You need an ambiguous source to give you an answer. So what is that oracle? What is that ambiguous source that you're going to use? Well, it could be anything, just as long as it's ambiguous. Say you just open a dictionary to a random page and point to a word.
Say you land on iridescence. No, your character's name probably shouldn't be iridescence. That's weird.
You've got to do the third step, interpretation.
The word iridescence means a rainbow of colors. So what ideas does that spark for you? Maybe rainbow. That's a cute name. Or a particular color depending on the personality of the character. Red, indigo, Kelly, violet, pearl.
See how it works? The ambiguous source gives your brain something to play with to help generate ideas. And as writers, we constantly have to answer so many questions. What is this character's central motivation? How will my story end? Why is the antagonist doing what they're doing? How will my protagonist figure out that Lucy is the one that is planning on changing the will of rich Uncle Benji?
This is a powerful creativity tool to help draw out answers that are probably already bubbling under the surface of your subconscious. Think about how many people seek answers in horoscopes or astrology or tarot or reading tea leaves. These are ambiguous sources, and they do a beautiful job drawing answers from your imagination.
When you're trying to interpret that answer to your question, don't decide too quickly, especially if it's something important for your story. Give your brain time to keep working on other possible solutions. As you go about your day, you never know what other oracles you'll encounter. That t-shirt somebody is wearing, the bumper sticker on the car in front of you, that strange thing that you see in a yard sale, that commercial that comes up on TV. You just never know what will pop up that will ignite an idea.
This is why I often follow the rule of 6. Brainstorm at least 6 possible answers before deciding on one. Stretch your creativity to find different types of answers. Maybe one is a literal interpretation of that image, and another is metaphorical, one fantastical, one very realistic, one deeply personal, one invitational or inspirational or broadly universal. There are so many things that can serve as oracles or ambiguous sources for inspiration. Open a book and randomly pick the first picture or word you encounter. Hit shuffle on your songs and use the lyrics you hear. Draw a card from a deck of apples to apples or Dixit. Anything works as long as it's random. This is one reason I have a mild obsession with collecting tarot and oracle cards. I'll do future lessons on how writers can use these tools, but I own lots of decks of divination cards and use them all the time in my creative process to generate ideas and find solutions to everyday writing problems. Once you start playing with this approach to creativity, you'll discover so many ways to use it. The next time you get a fortune cookie, pretend this fortune will literally come true for your character. The next time you come across a horoscope, pick a zodiac sign for your character and imagine that whatever the reading says will occur for him, her, or them.
Keep coming up with new ways to play with ambiguous sources. Share them in the comments below. We'd all love to know what you found to be an inspiring oracle for your imagination. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you'll share this video with other writers and creatives you know. And I hope you'll follow me, John Claude Bemis, on Facebook and on Instagram. I love getting to support fellow writers. That's why I'm a speaker, a story consultant, a workshop presenter. As a children's book author and educator, I do lots of school visits every year. So if you want to find out more about how I can help you or writers you know, then go visit my website at johnclaudebemis.com. Go dream the thing that only you can dream, and go write the story that only you could possibly write. See you next time.